Hello there, guys. It's Shannon from Bitcoin Bankers. Today we're going to have a quick look at the market. So I think there's something kind of crucial moving to a sort of critical point here. Some very interesting things happening. And I also want to talk about why I think sort of Tone Vays has sort of been going off. I know a lot of people probably watch him out there, but I'm going to give my 2 cents on why I think he keeps seeing a bearish market when there's actually a bullish market going on. If you've watched the recent video I did, I was probably a little heavily critical, but that's me. And I couldn't understand why people like Tone and a few others think that people like George Soros and the Rockefellers moving into this crypto market is a good thing. It's not a good thing. These people short the crap out of everything, make a profit, and destroy people. George Soros in the 2008-2009 crash cleaned out the Bank of England, I think it was, to the tune of $2 billion. He made a $2 billion profit, while a lot of people lost money. They lost their homes, their savings, everything, you know, and he sat on TV and boasted about it. So if you think that's a good thing, then fuck you. And you're just as bad as he is. You know, I know people don't have sympathy in the markets and all that sort of thing, and people like to be greedy, and they think it's an excuse to be greedy. And if that's the way you do things, so be it. I think you're a piece of shit if you do that. There's nothing wrong with everyone making a profit. I don't see why everyone can't be happy making a bit of profit. Yes, there's going to be some losers, and there's people who don't trade wisely, and that's why I keep saying it's up to everybody to be smart. Don't use credit cards or debt to get coins and things. Just start off with a few dollars and build your fortune. Everyone else has to, so take it easy, take it nicely. Another thing is that I'm thinking about I might do a couple of videos on just setting how to set yourself up with Bitcoin, and also a couple of videos on just the way I see the markets moving, some ideas on what kind of tools work and what tools aren't that successful and things like that. Anyway, let's get right into the markets. I don't want to waste time. I've got to get moving. So I'm going to switch over. Let's go to Bitcoin. We're going to start with Bitcoin. Now, as you can see, this is we've got our support line that I've had in here. I've had this line, and I did have a few others marked in, saying these would be the levels that we go to. We're now seeing that at this crucial crossover point here between the trend line and the support, we had a turnaround. We've become more bullish, and we are moving. I use a 40-day average. Okay, Tone Vays uses a 200-day average because he's used to working in the stock market, and that's part of what I'm going to explain is why I think he's I disagree with him. Okay, so we're seeing the price sort of head back towards more of a positive range. It's still not in a safe zone yet. It can still certainly move down. However, when you're looking at the histogram, this is on a weekly period. Okay, so each bar is 1 week long, shows a week of trading. And basically what we're seeing here in the MACD especially, this is what I've been watching. We had a crossover here. She's gone down under the regular signal line, and now she's coming back to cross over again. Okay, now if that crosses over, I'm going to go to a bigger screen. You can see it's quite a strong hook. It's from all this selling off, which means there's new buyers coming in. And she's turning around and working it, moving into more of a bullish position. Okay, by crossing that line and moving up, we could be moving into a very bullish position where we can start seeing growth over the longer term back up into some good value. The negative thing that could happen here is that because there's been so much buying very recently in the last 2 weeks, buying's been going crazy, you know. Things could be a little overbought, all right? And because of that, we could see this signal keep coming down, the line comes up and doesn't quite have the strength to cross over, and it bumps into the signal and drives it down. So we have a downward motion, okay, and that could drive the price back down. Meaning that we come back up here, we don't have the strength to maintain above the moving day average, and she just starts to drop off again. However, if that did happen, we'd be seeing a pretty crucial drop right down sort of below this line and then under. And that's a pretty strong support line. I really can't see it going under that. It would take massive selling to push it down under that. Okay, so that's why I'm more bullish. I think we are heading into a more of a bullish run. Okay, but it's still very hard to sort of say for sure. Okay, if I move on to the day, you're going to see this better. She's come down, she stayed on the positive side or the upside of the trend line. Even though it's been bearish and moving down, she's still been on the upside of that trend line. Okay, and it gives that, basically when you have this crossover point, you're more likely to have a positive move towards a big buy-in, and then the price sort of reversing into a better position, a more bullish position, even though you've had this big bearish fall. So that's my take on it. You'll see a very similar thing in Litecoin. We'll go to Litecoin. Okay. I'm going to go to the weekly on this first, once again. So the weekly on Litecoin, this is my outlook that I did in another video. It's a very long outlook. It goes up to 2020 and probably look around the $1,400 mark for Litecoin around then. Now, a lot of people think it's going to come here. It may, but I doubt it. My outlook for the end of this year, 2019, is probably around the $800 Litecoin mark, but that's me. Okay, let's see. That's why I do these charts, so we can see what's going on. Anyway, now I originally had my point here, okay, because when it came down, it hits the 6,000. You probably go back, you'll see a video where I just said, look, we're turning around, it's looking good, we've moved strong, a big strong rebound back up. That was at 6,000. Okay, that was in the let's go up, spread her up. Yep, so that was under the 618, just before the 0.786, so we'd gone right back down. That was a big pullback. It had moved up, and then it's gone back down again. Okay, so I'm readjusting that because these prices are pretty much the same level. Okay, that's the bottom of the spike, but this is actually the bottom of the candle, and I prefer to take it myself at the bottom of the candle. Okay, still doesn't change a lot. It just simply means that this has come back more into line, so we can actually have a look on the long scale and see that it is actually moving where we expected it to move, where we plotted that move. Okay, it's really not that far off. She's actually staying nicely. So what we'd like to see is a good growth right up this line over the next 8 months. Now, it might not happen that way. It might jump over the line and then fall under the line and then come over and then come under. And it might make it to about here and then drop down again. We'll have to wait and see. Again, you can see this strong turn on the MACD. And we're moving back more into a bullish position. However, we have to see how it crosses this signal line. It could bounce off. It could run out of steam after all this big buying the last 2 weeks. Yeah, I think it's looking like it's going to cross over. But we'll have to wait and see for that one. And this is what I'm watching, okay, long term. On the day, in Litecoin, again, still moving upward. Actually, I should probably move that to a better position, maybe there. Still moving within our prediction, what we said, what we've plotted. We just have to sit there and wait and watch. It is coming up into the between the 618 and the 0.5, so it's quite strong there. And if we see a boost up this 0.5 over the line and using that as support, I think we're in a pretty good spot. You know, and by the way, that would be up around near the $200 mark. You know, if we can see it get up in the mid-range here, I think it might play around this range, 2.9, 195, 225. Once we get up back up in there, I think we'll be in a pretty good spot to keep going forward. You can see also on the long term, as she's starting to move into a position, there has been a lot of direction down, where she's been sitting down, bit of selling off, not a lot of confidence, and now that confidence is coming back, and we have to see where this is going to move. So it might kind of be moving like this, and we might suddenly see a bit of a good spike up. Okay, but we have to get sort of past here before really we're seeing some good momentum back. Okay, I'm going to go to XRP because there's another interesting one. All right, let's go bring it out like this, and I'm going to go to the weekly again and stretch him out. All right, let's stretch out. So again, you see this position, and XRP is the one I've actually been watching more than the others, and I've just seen it be making this move. It has been sort of sitting on the bottom, which kind of made me a little bit cautious, but it's starting to sort of move up, and the signal line's coming to cross. So if they cross and we start to get a bit more of a positive mood, I think that's going to be really good. We should see that move reflect in the price, and we might get up to about here, maybe $1.50 in XRP over the next sort of 6 weeks, 4 weeks. $1.50 would be good, even maybe up into the $2 mark. That'd be nice. So that's my outlook there, okay? If we have a look a little closer, it's going way over the trend line. It's outside this, man. It's over the trend line. It's over the average, and it's moving into a position where it might have a bit of a sell-off, go down, meet the trend line again, so the average, and then work its way back up, okay? I sit on 92. This morning it was on 87, 89, something like that. So it's had a good run just for the day, just in that range. Okay. So I just want to come back to here for a minute. I'm going to explain now why I believe that Tone Vays calls have, why he still sees a bearish move when a lot of other people are seeing a bullish one, right? And why I see bullish. And here's the reason. He works in the stock market, as you know. He's worked for Stearns and JP Morgan and all these sorts of people, right? So he's used to working on a much larger scale over time, looking at markets. They got 100 years. Crypto's got about 8-10 years. We're babies compared to that, okay? But jumping back to this, I'm going to show you now. I'll do it on Bitcoin, I think. Go to the week. I'll do BTC. Okay. So this is the weekly as we looked at before, and if you have a look at the weeks. I do mine, as I said, I do my average, which is this line here, the moving average. It works out the price over a period of time that you designate, and it'll work out that average and show you the price movement of an average of where the coin's moving and the region that it's going to be moving and working within. If I go to the daily, let's have a look at the daily. Okay. So with Tone, he's drawn his line down here, and but a lot of his is under. I'm not sure why that is, but anyway. Actually, he does work on the weekly, doesn't he? But we'll keep it on the daily. So we had this move over and like this double top and drop down, okay? And she's kind of hit this crucial junction here where the selling kind of ran out. It was just oversold. We know there was manipulation in the market all the way down here that drove it to this price. Now, here's the thing. Tone Vays, like I said, uses a 200-day moving average. I use a 40. Now, 200 days compared to 40, that's like 5 times the difference in estimating the averaging price of where you think the coin's going to be. The reason I use 40 is this. Okay, let me kind of squeeze that down a bit. 40 days, okay? So we are roughly around the 24th at the moment. If I go back 40 days, that should take us to about the 15th of March, which would be, let's say, about the 15th of March. That is there. The price was about 7,000. So from the 15th of March to now, it's gone from 7,000 to 9,200. Right? Let's go back another 40 days. That would take me back to the beginning of February, which would be about there. The price there was 6,500. Okay, let's go back another 40 days. That would take me back to the end of December. And so let's say the 25th of December. The price on the 25th of December, right, was $13,000. Now I'm going to go back another 40 days. That would take me into beginning of November, which is about here. The price here was 6,900. Go back another 40 days again, one more time, and that would take me back to the end of September, right? Thereabouts. The price was 4,000. Actually, we'll go back a little here, about the 20th. It would work out to be. The price was $3,660. So in that period, from October or the end of September to now, that's about a 6-month period. That's about, that's 5 lots of 40 days. So there's 200 days. I've done the measurement because every 40 days the price has drastically changed. It's gone from 3,000, right? It went up to 7,000, come down to about 6. Then in the next 40 days, it went from 6,000 and shot up to 15,000. It then further in the next 40 days went to 20,000, just about, and came down to, at the end of January, came down to 12,000, 11,000, 12,000. Then came down to 6,000. Then it went up to 11,000. Then it came back down to 6,000. It's gone up to 9,000. There's a massive, massive movement and change of price, a very radical shift in pricing in those 200 days. It's gone from 3,000 to 20,000 to 6,000 to 10,000 to 6,000 again to 9,000. Okay? So there's so much radical change going on in there. It's better to have your average working on those changes and those fluctuations in price so it can give you a better prediction of where things are going to happen within the next 40 days. So when we look at it now and we say, okay, well, we've had this change. That's how I was able to see this here. I thought, okay, 6,000. I think I called these levels probably around last November or something like that. I said, okay, we're looking at about 6,000. Why? Because we have quite, based on Elliott wave, you have quite a big retracement, and then you'll have a short one in the second, in wave 4, okay? But there's a whole lot of rules. You can have a look at my other videos for that, but there's a few rules to it, and it explains that. So I knew it would sort of come down to around this range. We did see that. It got support. It bounced off. It's moved over the average again, so it's now in a very strong position to go more bullish. Okay, we have our MACD here also that represents the changes and the swings in the value. Okay, it's also now sitting here and starting to move up into a more bullish position. So in the long term, on the daily, we're actually looking pretty good. On the weekly, for Bitcoin, you know, it's looking like the bottom's in because we've hit that range, we've hit that strong support. Same with here, right around the 618. Okay, and now it's going to sort of find its support around that 618 level and continue to work from there. That's what it should do. It should do, especially when we got this indicator here that's showing us that it's moving into a position that's getting more bullish and going to cross that signal line and move more positive. Okay, that's my argument. Okay, 40 days, each 40 days there's been dramatic change, and when you put those dramatic changes together, you're able to get more of a representation of the fluctuations and a better average that will give you a more positive predictive outcome on where it's going. And when I say positive, I don't mean a good outlook. I just mean positive as in more beneficial, given the rapid change in price over the last number of periods of time within that 40-day block. Okay, so I hope that makes sense. I'll just switch back in. I hope that makes sense to you. That's my reason why I think we're more bullish than we are bearish. Can we come back and fall down a bit? Yeah, there's going to be a lot more of that going on. Might see quite a bit of fluctuation, but if you've got the 40-day average on, it's going to give you a better accumulation of price within that fluctuation period. And, you know, I think you'll just be a little bit tighter, a little bit more accurate, rather than having something spread out over that 200 days where it's averaging a price in a block of 200 days. Okay? So that's my argument. Anyway, that's the market as well. We're at a real crucial point. It could go up. I think it's going to look like it's going up as long as we see those signals cross and move more bullish. Then I think we'll have a good couple of 6 weeks ahead. Anyway, that's my outlook for today, so I hope that's been helpful. Shannon, Bitcoin Bankers, and we'll see how we go from there, and I'll see you next time. Thanks a lot.